Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to the gorgeous Krystyn. How are you?
Hi, thank you for having me.
Listen, you, let's face it, are the one who comes on stage and we all go, oh my, a female magician. Now, there aren't many of them who are any good, are there?
There are very few females in magic. That's absolutely true.
Why? I don't understand. As the assistant, the tradition is that you steal the glory, but there aren't many that have sort of taken the world by storm like Copperfield or Criss or any of those other people.
Well, you know, there hasn't really been a good role model for that. There hasn't been a strong history of females in magic. It's much more compelling for an innocent woman to get cut in half than a guy. And so men have always assumed this powerful role. I mean, you see the glass ceiling in all fields, and magic is one of the final frontiers, I feel. And so it's very empowering for me to sort of break that and be a trailblazer in a new way.
So why you? I mean, you knock on the door of Criss Angel and he says, yeah, you're brilliant, come and be part of my show. I mean, that's such a compliment, isn't it?
It's been huge, you know, and I've had a lot of struggles growing up being one of the few females. It's been hard having people take me seriously. And, oh, she's just some young girl, or oh, she's just getting gigs because she's cute or she's hot or whatever. And Criss really saw that I was dedicated to the art, that I had the chops, that I was committed to what I was doing. And that really was flattering, and the fact that he was taking me seriously and taking me under his wing.
And so he should. You are beautiful. We can't deny that. And then I see you eating razor blades, and I think, come on, this is not a way to form a career.
Oh, it's definitely a way to form a career. For me, I'm not satisfied with the status quo. I'm not satisfied just doing what the expected. You know, you don't expect someone who has big blonde hair and big blue eyes to come out and start eating razor blades. That's not what you expect. And I really enjoy twisting things around. You know, Criss is really big on blurring line. You know, he blurs the line between reality and illusion, and I like to blur the line between the expected and the unexpected. That's what magic is all about.
And you do it so well. I mean, you come out and you look rock and roll, which is cool. And that's obviously what the show's about. I mean, it's a sexy show. And that's what Criss has done with Supernaturalists. It's not about the old fashioned type of magic. It's new. So you fit in brilliantly. But I mean, you really are a great magician. How did you learn? Where did you learn? And why did you learn?
Well, I started to get involved in magic. My mother had cancer when I was growing up. And she gave me some magic tricks to distract me and give me something to put my energy into. And it worked. I fell in love with it, and I kept working on it and kept working on it, and it sort of got to the point where this is all I wanted to do. I was fortunate to live in Los Angeles, where there's a very strong magic community. The Magic Castle is out there, and so I was able to get plugged in with a good group of magicians, and you know, I was lucky to meet Lance Burton and go to his teen weekend, and that's how I met Criss, was through Lance Burton.
And again, I mean, Lance is probably one of the greatest theatre magicians of all time. I mean, it's sad his show is still not going, but I mean, for 10 years he did it at Monte Carlo. I saw it every year. And his craftsmanship was so mesmerizing. And I guess what you have to do in this business is find your own thing, isn't it? Because Criss is so unique. And for you to do it in this show is the perfect vehicle, I guess.
I would think so. And again, you know, there's a lot of trailblazing that's happening, and that's powerful for me. I feel very empowered by that, and what matters the most is last night I had someone come up to me and she said, Krystyn, I want to be an engineer, and she's the only female in her program. Wow. And she says, I struggle with it every day, and seeing you on stage doing what you're doing was very inspiring to me. And that's where I know that I'm having an impact, and that's what makes it all worth it for me.
When you stand on that stage, tell me how it feels, because to be on a production this big, I guess, is everybody's dream.
It absolutely is. And when I'm up there working on my straitjacket, I can't help but think there is nowhere I would rather be. I've worked my whole life for this, and I've had a lot of people tell me no. And I've had a lot of people say, oh, you're just a girl, you can't do this, or no, this is never going to happen. And you know, I know there are a lot of women in their respective fields who have endured the same thing. And for me to feel victorious through that, there's nothing sweeter.
Yeah, I mean, it is sad in this show that you are the only female magician and they decide to sort of tie you up and dangle you from the roof. That's disappointing, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know about disappointing. I think it's definitely I come out successful.
You certainly do, and that is one of the greatest bits of the show because the music exemplifies the danger in the trick. And I wonder physically how demanding it is because you are literally throwing yourself hung by just your feet across the entire stage.
Yes, it's very taxing on your ankles, but it's also very taxing on your shoulder. And you have to look at Chris's injury 2 years ago with his double straight jacket. I mean, he dislocated his shoulder and had the tears on his biceps and still has tears in his rotator cuff. I mean, that was a massive surgery. And so that has been a big reality check for me.
I always say to people, if you think that magic is just fake and not real, just look at the injuries that you guys get. I mean, it is a full-time job, not only on stage doing your magic, but also keeping fit.
Yes, absolutely. And, that's why it's good to be in such a cast with such devoted people who are there 100% with you. There's no member of this cast who I'm sort of wavering on the line. Everyone is there 110% every night, and that's inspiring.
And is it nice as well that they've given you sort of different roles in this show? I mean, you get to do the very sort of close-up stuff with those razor blades I mentioned earlier, and then the big numbers where you're dangling upside down with the lighting and the music. I mean, you get to do all spectrum of magic, don't you?
Yes, I'm very fortunate from that respect. But we all get to have a range of different skill sets, and I think the show does a wonderful job of displaying everyone's strong suits, and Criss, I think, is one of the best curators of all of that.
So in terms of your future and this show, you're here until the 23rd of July, and then you go back where? Back to LA?
I'll be back in Vegas, and I will be prepping for the next round of Supernaturalists, which will be taking place in the fall, and we're looking forward to every following iteration. I mean, it's been such a wonderful journey from day one of creation, and we're really looking forward to evolving with this project.
I always talk to people who are the first people to be in any musical or show. I mean, it is thrilling and there's nothing like it. It's a roller coaster of highs and lows, isn't it? Because the depression of when it doesn't work and then finally getting it on stage when it does is utterly thrilling.
It's definitely a journey, especially with magic, because you're already doing the impossible by nature of doing magic. But then you add in all of these technical, revolutionary elements. What Criss has created is second to none. And what we're able to create in the Magic Factory is unbelievable. It's one of those things where, oh, this doesn't work? All right, well, let's just send it over into the next room and they'll fix it right now. There is nowhere else in the world that you can do that.
I describe his workshop as an IKEA-sized factory. I mean, it truly is, isn't it? I have never seen anything like it, and I don't think there is anywhere else on Earth that big for a magician.
No, there absolutely is not. Criss has created the #1 magic facility in the world.
And I suppose that must be hugely liberating for people like you because it means there are no impossibilities. Anything is possible.
It feels that way, and it's definitely a blessing to be working with Criss and be under this umbrella of the Supernaturalists.
And I guess this is the dream, isn't it? You get to come here to Foxwoods and do this. I mean, you're only a week in and already standing ovations and a sold-out crowd last night. You're living the dream.
It's very exciting. Every night is a pleasure.
Keep on keeping on. It's great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.